Reggie, we live. The one is sending me a message. I'm gonna have to call her back in a minute. Okay, y'all. So I tried to give a portion of my testimony before I went in to go eat. I didn't want to hold my husband up, and we had two friends waiting on us, so I didn't want to hold them up. But I want to do a truth heals hurt, the other side of my testimony, and how God will use people that you don't even know to help you. If you haven't not already looked at part one, hi Tyrese. If you haven't looked at part one, I want to make sure you understand that I don't have a question about what stopped the bullet from coming out the gun. Now, again, we found out later it was a manufactured issue, and I said if I had ever needed it during a certain situation, that I don't even know if it would have worked, but I just know that God blocked it. But I gotta tell you about why you cannot let depression take over you. I gotta share with you as to why there's a part two to this. And so God has a way of coming into your life, and when you open up your heart to Him and fixing that mess. And so for years, what people don't know about me is for years, I worried so much about making friends and having people like me. And so a lot of times when I went through things by myself, because I either had to meet somebody's expectations or I had to do something in order for them to stay friends with me. And so when I did have those depressed moments, when I did get to the point to where I needed friends, most of the time the friends that I did have were people who always needed me. And so I have learned that I need people who I can call in my life. I need my circle to be people who, if I do get in a slump, if I am depressed, if something happens, then I won't stay stuck. Like, they won't allow me to be stuck. And a lot of times, all people that's depressed need you to do is to listen. We're not asking for advice all the time. We're not asking for you to fix our problems. We're just asking for you to listen. And sometimes we need you to understand. Now, you may not agree with where we're coming from. Like, a lot of people kept telling me, well, girl, all you had to do was tell me that you was depressed. All you had to do was tell me and I would have just come. But for some reason, I didn't see those people to be them type of people. So if that's really what you want somebody to think about you, then make sure you make that known to people. Don't wait till they get in a terrible situation or they're getting ready to do something to themselves, and then you talking about you would have been the one, because it's too late then for us to know that you would have been there on our behalf. And so if you are somebody who doesn't mind, you don't mind going to rescue or being there, make it known to somebody, because again, we won't know. Hey Tina, how you doing? We won't know that you're, gonna be there for us, and then it's gonna be too late. And so one lady asked me in 2008, after I was sharing the story with somebody else, because God had sent somebody else to me who had been going through depression at that time. And so the lady said, well, how come it is, she was upset because later we found out that one of her children had committed suicide, and so she was disturbed by that. And so she said, how come he let you live and my son ended up dying? Well, First of all, I thank God for the prayers of the righteous. I thank God for the people who interceded on behalf of my life. But I did realize that I needed to give her an answer. So I prayed and asked God, and I wanted something better than it was my time to go or not my time to go, or you know what I'm saying? You know how we throw that in there. We tell people, well, it wasn't your time. Well, the thing is, God knows our real heart's desire, and some people are really tired. Some people are really depressed to the point of where they don't want to go on anymore. And so that's between them and God. I'm not here to try to fix what your situation was and explain why your loved one had to go and God let me stay here. That's not what I'm here for. But what I will tell you is that God saw something that I needed to do. He saw more that had to be done in Prince's life. And so he didn't let it happen. And that's what I praise God for. The other relationships, the other people, the other things that have happened, because we do have a large number of suicides being committed on a daily basis. Depression is real. Okay. But because we have such a high, that's why I thank God that he's going to be the one with the final say, because a lot of times even with my job, I have learned that medications cause people to be depressed. Medications cause people's minds not to operate or function properly. And so when it's time for them to make decisions, that's why I'm so excited that God is the one who has the final say so as to where we will go. But I just want to say this to you all that are watching. Be mindful of your family members this season, because depression comes in a greater form during these times. And while some of you are excited to be cooking turkey and having these functions and stuff at your house, there's somebody in your family dealing with depression. There's somebody that's at your church dealing with depression. Ask God to open up your eyes so that you will be the one to see it, to block, because that's what normally happens. See, God came to visit me in my room, but some of you need to be used so that God can stop some of these and block some of these things that are going on. But if the spirit of discernment is not open, then that person won't get that deliverance that they need. God wants to use some of you that are looking at this video to pick up on these spirits that are out here, because again, you might not like homosexuals. You might not like how they act, what they do. You may have your own judgment or whatever, but a lot of them deal with depression. A lot of people who are out of character, out of their life designed purpose, they are depressed during this time. And it's because families have turned their backs. Families who try to judge have closed their doors. And so we deal with a lot of depressions for a lot of reasons. It's not always financially. It's not always emotional stuff. For me, it was just being overwhelmed and just tired of living the life like I did, and always trying to have a solution for everybody. And I asked God, why is it that you've allowed me to go through so much? And then people sit around me laughing, taking stuff for granted. They act like they don't know who you are. And you see fit some kind of way to continue to keep blessing them and continue to make ways for them. But they sit around here acting like they don't have no clue. And it used to aggravate my nerves. I promise y'all that people would sit there and take life for granted, or sit there and think that life is so good because they got it going on and somebody else is over there struggling. And I used to watch this stuff and I'd be like, this world ain't gonna get no better. So that's when I started thinking and getting into the depressed mode that I should go. Because if while you may be the one saying, well, Princess, you know, if you kill yourself, you wasn't gonna go to heaven. Or whatever the case may be. Again, I just thank God. I thank God because my mind was not right at that time. I thank God that he intervened and came in on my behalf, because a lot of the times, I'm telling you, when you start talking to people about the things that are going on in your life, they start being judgmental. They got stuff to say. They got opinions about it. And they don't realize that a lot of us that are sick sometimes in our minds, that we don't care nothing about what you're talking about. We just want to be free. We just want to feel like, there's a breath of fresh air somewhere. We just don't want to keep going through the things we're going through. We just don't want to be in the family while people are acting like things are okay and we smiling and grinning. Or we don't want to be in families that are messed up. And you know what I'm saying? And we live our lives so to the point to where we put so much pressure on ourselves to where we just don't know whether we're coming or going sometimes. And while our families, the families of those that are depressed and dealing with all these issues, we're laughing, we're talking, we're not checking on one another, we're not praying like we should be for one another. And so then what would have happened in my family is people would have been shocked, mouths would have been opened at my service. And I know this for a fact because, again, hardly anybody checked on me to see if I was okay, because I've always been strong and I've always been the type of person to lead. And so I always have had a certain courage about myself, a certain strength about myself. But when I get down, that is when I would have the problem, but I couldn't find nobody hardly. I'm telling y'all, when I look around, all the people that was saying that they was praying for me, I didn't need a prayer. I needed a body. I needed to see somebody really cared. I didn't want to be used no more. I didn't want to be, ran over. I didn't want to feel like the rest of my life I'll be servicing everybody else and nobody will care about what is going on with me. And so my family would have been they probably would have just been on front rows and that section where the families sit and just probably confused, because they would have been like, well, the day before when I talked to her, she was excited. The day before when I talked to her. But anyway, let me sum my testimony up so that you all can see. I did want to make some points as to how you can tell if some of your family members are depressed during this time. Some of y'all laughing and talking with people who are trying to figure out how to get rid of their situations and problems, and the only solution they can come up with is suicide. And so I just wanted to make sure I share that. But let me tell you what God did the next year. The next year, as I began to start trying my healing process, because depression, again, is not something you can just get rid of. It doesn't go anywhere. You can find some things to make you happy at some point, but then depression doesn't go anywhere. It's a sickness. It's a sickness, I'm telling you. And something else can trigger you to go off into another mode. It really can. And so as I began to talk to people and, meet people and thinking that people gonna do me right, and you get in relationships with people, here we go again with the same old mess. Well, God saw fit that a year later, which would have been 2009, is when Reggie reached out to me. And again, I had already been going through different relationships, and I'm talking about friendships too, where they were sorry and folks using people. And that's why you got to be careful who in your circle, because you will be used up to the point to, like I said, people be crying at your funeral and act like they didn't even know nothing and didn't have no sign of nothing. But I was dating someone who really did not care anything about me. I can't even really call it dating, in 2009. And then I would go back and forth trying to just find purpose. Just wanted somebody to love me. I just wanted somebody to accept me and pick me. And so I met Reggie. He sent a message. We decided to meet up for a date. And that date just so happened to be Thanksgiving night. And because he would only be here for a certain amount of time, and that was all the time pretty much that he had before he would be deployed to go to serve another term in Iraq or Afghanistan, sorry. And so anyway, I couldn't believe how God started blessing me. Once I asked him to help me, I got on my knees and I prayed, and I was like, God, I really want to feel love, and I really want people in my life that feel like I matter more than, I don't want to just be something to do for them. I want to have some people in my life that care about me, care about my well-being, care about whether I have $5, care about whether I have gas in my car. I need those kind of people to surround me, because again, I'm a single mother trying to raise these 3 kids by myself, and I don't want to neglect them and for them not to have the things that they need, and then other things that were depressing me, like relationships and being with somebody who you got to try to chase after. The devil is a lie. If you are listening to me at any point during this video and you are chasing after somebody who don't really want your behind, I'm asking that God snatch that spirit out of you, because you deserve somebody who really cares about you. I'm telling you, I was chasing this person and they found every excuse in the world. And the only time that we really spent time with each other is when they was trying to throw me in their family face. And thank God for that family that loved me. But again, the person didn't care nothing about me. And I kept trying to be in a relationship, thinking if I do this, if I do this, if I do that. And that's what happens when you are a person, a woman, a man seeking after love. You will do things all out of character, just going above and beyond your regular stuff just so you can get somebody to pay attention to you. And if you are dealing with that, I'm asking God to snatch that spirit up out of you, because there's somebody that's going to come into your life that's going to appreciate you for who you are, going to want to spend time with you. Even when you don't want to spend time with you, they're going to want to spend time with you. So I'm praying for that too, because that causes depression on people when they're looking for love and can't find love. But anyway, when I met Reggie, like I said, he had a little bit of time, but that was a year after I had tried to commit suicide, because the Sunday before Thanksgiving was when I was trying to end my life. And when I tell you the anniversary of that time, I remember that Sunday morning, and I actually was looking forward to, meeting up with him to talk to him. But the thing that I think that God was trying to show me is, if you had interfere with my plan for your life, then this is what would have happened. I wouldn't be here today to talk to you all. I wouldn't be a living testimony. I wouldn't be Truth Heals Hurt, because I feel like in my spirit, or half of the time that I was telling lies, it was to benefit other people. It wasn't even to benefit me. But I wouldn't be here today to tell you that you have purpose, that you are worth more than what you give yourself credit for. You're stronger than the person that you set out to be, or the thing that you do every day. You're bigger than that. You're stronger than that. And when we don't have these things, I'm telling you, depression seeps in. So if you need some encouragement, don't feel bad about reaching out to somebody. Send me an inbox. I'm telling you, I am here for you, because I believe that our lives are no good. Our testimonies are no good if we can't help nobody else. I'm telling you, to me, they don't even matter. So I'm not here today. I'm not doing these videos now because life has been easy for me. When I talk to you, I talk to you based upon experience. I talk to you based on the situations that I know God is able to pull you out of. I'm telling you, I'm not an ugly person, but I thought I was so ugly. I'm telling you, I used to look in the mirror at myself and I would think that I was so ugly and everybody looked better than me. I don't know how I got that spirit on the inside of me, but I'm telling you, I thank God for delivering me from that, because people be surprised. They be like, well, how did you think you was ugly? But I'm telling you, I used to look in the mirror at myself and I just be so disgusted. And I would get next to people. I didn't understand why folks didn't want me. But see, this stuff stemmed from the relationship I had with my father. I'm telling y'all. So we got to get to the root of why we are depressed, why we're going through so much, why we're working so hard, and why we're killing ourselves over stuff. Yes, thank you, young blood. I thank God for sparing your life. I thank him for that. Because again, people will be around you and they won't even know that you had tried to commit suicide. I'm telling you, they would have been sitting there with their mouths wide open, trying to figure out why would she have done this? But I'm telling you, different ones of us in this world are seeking after something that man can't give us. You got to go to God. You got to talk to God. You got to pray. You ain't got to have no special big words for God. You just tell him, I need you, God. I don't want to live without you, God. I want to be better. I want to see myself like you see me. You got to go to God, because I'm telling you, man will disappoint you. Friends will leave you. When you get sick and you're in trouble, God, He's able, He's capable. And I'm telling you, it's not something that I'm just talking about. It's something that He rescued me that day because I was serious about it. I was serious about getting rid of myself and thought nobody cared. That's what I thought. Because looking at my life and my situation and the way people are, my family is very loving, but we just didn't spend a whole lot of time together like that. We had yearly functions that we would go to. And even today, we have it to where I've been gone, my children are scattered out or whatever. You need to text people. If you can't talk, I wish I would pick up the phone though, really. Pick up the phone and tell somebody you love them. Stop texting all that stuff. I don't want to get started on that. I don't want to tell nobody how to communicate. But I just feel like when somebody hears your voice, you don't know what you're interrupting. You don't know what thought you're interrupting. Pick up the phone and call people. Stop trying to text people you love them and stuff. I understand that's what you got to do sometimes, but sometimes you just got to pick up the phone and tell somebody, hey, I was thinking about you. You need anything? You okay over there? God done told some of y'all, now I'm finna step on some toes right here. God told some of y'all to do some stuff and y'all didn't do it. You didn't do it. You too busy trying to figure out how come you got to do it, or trying to figure out why God tell you that about that person, because you're looking at something and sidetrack. But you don't know what people going through, and you don't know what prayers they have asked God. And you could be the answer to the prayer. You could be the answer to that prayer. A kind word. I just stopped by, baby, to tell you, hey, I know some of us got attitudes and we don't like to open the door. And unless you call and all that stuff, we got all these rules, stuff like that. I even got the same rules where I don't like it to answer the door if you didn't call me. But that was my mama. When a person is depressed and need a sign from God, that knock on that door could be it. When a person is down to their last dime, that $20 God told you to give them could be the sign that they get from God. When a person is hungry for something and God told you to do something for them, that thing that He told you to do can line up with that. Let me see what Youngblood is saying. It's because we walk around with a smile, but they don't know what people really go through. No. And not everyone know how to handle stress. I'm telling y'all, and I am somebody who thought I knew how to deal with depression and stress. But I got tired of them sleeping pills not working. And I'm like, okay, if they're not going to work, then I'm going to have to help myself with something else. All I can tell you is that God placed us here for a reason on this earth, and that all of us have purpose. All of us have purpose. During this season, I know the world is crazy. I get it. I get that you don't invite people to your house because you don't never know what you're dealing with. But ask God for the spirit of discernment. Make somebody happy this year. Like, ask God for the spirit of discernment so that you could be the person to bring joy to somebody's life who's been depressed. Ask God for that spirit of discernment so that you can know when to go hug a sister at church, or when to go give a brother a high five, or when to say encouraging and kind words to somebody. Ask God, please, because this year, my timeline today, just today, has so many deaths. They're not even due to suicide. Suicide would be added. But it's so many deaths in my timeline. I'm telling y'all, we got to be ready. It's all I can tell you. But there are opportunities when that may be the last opportunity you have to tell somebody you love them. Maybe the last opportunity that you have to spend time with somebody. I need you to treat every situation and every moment like that, because again, you don't know what people are going through. And those of us that have attempted to commit suicide are not going to be talking to you about that. We're not going to be calling you to tell you that we want to commit suicide because we think you're going to stop. And for those of you that say suicide missions are selfish, whatever. whatever you want to call it, whatever you think about it, whatever. It's a life. It's a life that's about to be interrupted. So all your opinions and your thoughts about it and whatever the case may be, your judgment, your whatever. Don't nobody need that. If you ain't never been Christ-like, especially if you go to church, if you ain't never been Christ-like, if you ain't never exercised the Jesus in you, if the mind that is in Christ is just now popping up in you, we need for you to use that. Not your own opinions, not your own thoughts. It's some people right now in your house that might be depressed while y'all walking around laughing and stuff. Okay? And I'm not going to keep you on here. I'm going to let y'all talk to God about what it is you could do this year to see if you could lend a helping hand or lend a smile. And if you are somebody who has a depression issue or somebody who thinks negative thoughts or things are planted in your brain, some of you are on medications that you may need to go get checked out to make sure that you don't have one of these medications that cause you to be depressed or cause you to be, suicidal, because there are medications out there that do this. Then I'm asking God to just reveal some stuff, because again, God is already calling folks home. He's calling them home. The timeline is filled with people who have been called home since yesterday. So I'm asking, if you got, thank you, Tina. I'm asking y'all to help me on this, Truth Heals Hurt journey. Tina, I want to say this while it just came in my spirit. You keep doing your prayers every morning, please. You keep, doing what God called you to do. Some of y'all get sick of us on this Facebook. We really don't care. But I thank God Tina puts out a prayer. And just don't know. Some people don't know the words to say in prayer. And I was looking at one of your prayers. I think it was the same day that you all said that your daughter was going in for surgery or something. I didn't get all the details. But Tina was praying. And if you need prayers, it's people like that. That's who you need to be making friends with on Facebook. Y'all don't know half of these folks, no way. So you might well link up with some people who doing some things on Facebook that can help you to get through the day. And I know some of y'all be like, oh, they always doing videos and they always sending encouraging words, and they always, honey, it ain't for you if you ain't enjoying it. It ain't for you we ain't doing it for you. We ain't doing it for you. And because I said that, I don't want Tina to stop. I don't want those of you that's doing inspirational words. I don't want, if you're doing videos, I think Sister Connie like to have church on here. So somewhere you can get the word. If you didn't get the word, if you didn't make it to church or whatever. In my timeline, I have so many people who are allowing God to use them to go out into the nations, because a lot of us like to sit in church and we like to sit and we like to do hardly nothing, or we like to do whatever is good for our church, and then we ain't no good to the world. We ain't no good for that. And so if you need something during this season, and you don't know, inbox me. I got, like I said, I saw some pastors join me in this. I think Pastor Dennis was on here. If you need some people to pray with you, if you need some people to speak life into you, like I said, Sister Tina is always doing, she might be Minister Tina, but always sending out encouraging words. If you need somewhere to go for the holidays because you're going to be at home depressed because you have nowhere to go, reach out to somebody. Put it on your Facebook. They like to talk about stuff on here. Put it on Facebook. Say, y'all, I'm going to be by myself and I don't want to be by myself and I want to go to somebody's house for Thanksgiving. Use the Facebook for what it's for. And don't worry about people judging you and all that. Because again, the devil get you alone, he going to be trying to have a playground. Don't worry about folks. Don't worry about folks. I wish we could just throw some folks in the trash. Don't worry about folks. Anyway, y'all have a blessed day. I'm getting ready to upload these 2018 procrastination planners. My daughter and I are both procrastinators, and so we decided to put together something. It's not gonna be what y'all think it is. I'm excited about that. It's actually gonna be something to make you laugh, make you work get some things to come out you. Anyway, y'all be blessed. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And again, prayer lines are open. I think Beth, my baby sister, and I still call her my sister, she has something where you can call into a conference call. But just reach out to me if you, whatever you need. We're getting into the holiday season and depression gets to be like greater during that time. So, and the new year. So God, we're asking, and we're going to probably do prayer. I'm probably going to, come live and do prayer with some people because again, suicide is real and depression is real and, people need us.